Is this thing on?
Are you ready, Matt?
You're listening to Box Office Bingers
with Matt Diaz and Ernesto Santos.
Good evening, folks. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you.
We know each other. He's a friend from work.
Box Office Bingers.
And the only way that I know how to do it is to find you a bloody good dump.
He's my friend. I don't have friends. I got family.
I can do this all day.
You know, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
And we're back. Another episode of Box Office Bingers. Matt, we have a super stack show.
I mean, I feel like that's an understatement.
Yeah, we got a lot. It is just you and me, but we got a lot going on.
Yeah, episode 299. It's incredible. It's been 3 weeks since we've recorded our last episode. Did a little bit of a break, a little bit of a family time. So how are you, sir? I feel like I haven't talked to you. I mean, yeah, it's been 3 weeks. I haven't seen you in a minute. So
Well, we went on our family vacation. We went and visited family, spent a week on the lake, spent some time with some family in Jacksonville. And you guys, for the 3 people who watch our show, please excuse please excuse the mess in the back. I'm currently reorganizing the office and kind of redoing my background here. So it's currently a work in progress. Hopefully soon I'll have it done and ready, but at least for the time being, it's gonna look like this.
thank you for the 3 people who watch. We really appreciate it.
We count them on one hand. We appreciate you.
We get 2 more. We can do a high five.
Yeah. All right, Matt, what we got this week?
Oh my God. We got a lot going on. We are basically trying to keep up with the summer because there's a lot of shit that has been coming out these last few weeks. We're also trying to squeeze in our foreign film of the month. So with that, our main review this week is going to be Evil Dead Burn, written, directed by Sebastian Van Sick. I think that's how you pronounce it. I have no idea. He directed the 2023 film Infected, which I've never heard of. He's apparently a French director. And the movie was also written by Florent Bernard. The movie stars, here we go. So Helena Yacob. Thank you. Hunter Johan.
Duhan.
Lucina Buchanan.
Lucien.
Okay. Lucien. Tandy Wright. Good that okay.
You did.
Thank you. Earl Shand.
I would argue that says Errol Shand, but you could be right.
And Mode Davy.
I would say Maud.
There you go. And that's how we're gonna do this.
Hey, I help you. You help me.
There we go.
We help each other out.
After 299 episodes, if you don't know, I'm not good with words.
You should just know that.
I'm fine with words. It's names. Can't do names that well.
But you know, the good thing is that you try. It's not like you don't try. You do. He does. He tries. He practices.
He practices. He still fails.
But he tries.
He tries. But yeah, the new entry in the Evil Dead franchise. A franchise we haven't really talked about.
No.
I'm fairly new to it. I know. I remember I'm not sure if I might have mentioned or not on the podcast, but a few months ago, I've watched the first bout of the Evil Dead movies. I watched Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness a few months ago for the first time, and as a quick review, it wasn't really my cup of tea. And then just recently, I watched the 2013 reboot, Evil Dead Rise, and then the new movie Evil Dead Burn, which we'll talk about later in the show. But outside of that, we also have our foreign film of the month. We're revisiting the world of Sisu, Road to Revenge. It's a Finland movie starring Jorma Tammila and Stephen Lang.
You got that.
Written, thank you. Written, directed by Jamari Helander.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He directed the first Sisu as well as a movie called Big Game. I don't know when it came out, but it was starring Samuel L. Jackson. But yeah, we reviewed the first movie a few years ago.
Yeah.
when that came out, and then obviously they made a sequel, so we're going to be talking about that. Not only are we talking about those movies, but we're going to be talking about the new movie from Olivia Wilde called The Invite, starring Seth Rogen, Ed Norton, and who's
Penelope
the last
Cruz.
one? Thank you, Penelope Cruz. We're also be talking about the first half of House of Dragon.
Mhm.
We're also be talking about the season finale of Hacks. And we also got like about a month and a half worth of news. So we are, like Ernesto said at the beginning of this episode, we're stacked. So without further ado, let's get started with some entertainment news. Like I said, we have a lot to cover. We're gonna start with some of the stuff that happened this week, and then we'll probably trickle down to stuff that happened like about a month ago or so, a few weeks ago. So like kind of newest to oldest type of deal we're gonna go with. And this one's a shocker, in my opinion. It's kind of heartbreaking when you think about it. So Prime Video is set to recast the lead role of Kratos in the upcoming adaptation of God of War after star Ryan Hurst was injured on set. The decision, made after a careful consideration by the studios on the show, which are Sony Pictures Television and Amazon MGM Studios. And so it comes after Ryan Hurst, who had been originally cast as Kratos, was seriously injured on set this past June. Hurst tore a bicep while doing a stunt on the show. Hurst's projected recovery time is unclear, but for serious bicep injury tear requiring surgery, it's typically about 4 to 6 months, with the return to full strength taking up to a year. Given the physicality of the return of the role, it will likely not have been safe for Hurst to resume filming until 2027.
Mm.
So that is like at least a 6 month
Yeah.
delay in filming. According to sources, while Hurst's full recovery is a priority, the period required for it was longer than expected. The production shooting schedule could accommodate, leading to the difficult decision to recast the role. Hurst already filmed about 4 episodes of the show, and is now those scenes will have to be reshot with the new actor. With the production pause indefinitely, it's unclear how long it will take to find a new Kratos, when production will resume, and when the show will release now on Prime Video.
Well, I think just first and foremost, I just hope he has a full recovery, and I hope he's okay more than anything. But yeah, this is obviously a role that not only is it physical, but he's also like shirtless, and he's like the strong person. So I understand the physicality. I'm curious of what the stunt was, or like are we gonna see that replicated in with the new actor, and like being able to see that difference. But no, I hope they find somebody good. That's a role, not only for the look, but also the voice has to be right. Like out of everything, the voice has to be right. And Ryan Hurst was great. So I hope they pick somebody who's just as good.
Yeah, I know a lot of people online have been, even from the beginning of all this, they're like justice for Christopher Judge, who is the voice of Kratos in the newer games, not the original voice. I think the original voice was like TC Carson, I believe that was the actor's name, and he was like the voice for Kratos for like the earlier games, and then from God of War and God of War Ragnarok, it's been, I believe it's Christopher Judge, and this guy's jacked. He is pretty big. And so a lot of people are saying just bring him back since he was already the voice. But to me, in my opinion, I'm not sure how old this guy is, and there's a lot more than just looking the part and having the voice. I mean, it's depending on how much stunts that they're doing on the show. There's a lot of physicality. Clearly, if you play the games, you know
Yeah.
that there's a lot going on for this role. So it's like you mentioned, I hope he makes a full recovery. It's just kind of a heartbreaking situation that you got like a role of a lifetime, especially for this actor who, I'm sure he's been in a few things, but this is like a kind of a major big deal for him. And then now to unfortunately have to give that up due to the injury. I'm very curious on who they will recast, and just unfortunate they kind of have to restart from the beginning. Hopefully that makes it for kind of these unfortunate circumstances, but hopefully they can maybe fix a few things they were planning on, relooking at the script, fine tuning a few things, maybe doing things differently than they would have before. Could turn out to be for a better show, for better or for worse, but only time will tell on that. I know that the show was aiming for a 2027 release.
Yeah, it's not
I,
happening.
I don't think so. I don't think so. They were probably looking at the best case, maybe early 2028 at this point.
Yeah.
Um,
If
but yeah,
that.
it's really unfortunate. But
Yeah.
hopefully he makes a full recovery.
Yeah. We got some more bad news we're moving to. So, well, it's bad and good. We'll start with the bad. So, the Batman 2 has been delayed yet again, pushing the film by 4.5 months from October 1st of 2027 to now releasing in February 18th of 2028. With this announcement, Matt Reeves also gave us our first look at Robert Pattinson's Batman in the film. I mean, man, this movie has been delayed so
Yeah.
many times. It better be worth it. It better be
Yeah.
just as good as the first one. That's all I'm saying. I think the first stills that he released, they look great. So looks
Yep,
just
they-
good. So hopefully it'll be worth the wait.
Yeah, they are filming right now. If you're watching us on YouTube or Spotify, you'll see the image. It was like a video that they came out with. It was like, Robert Pattinson like coming out of the shadows, and there he is in the suit. And then it followed with the Batman, I guess the new logo. If it changes, that looks the same to me. But it just says the two on it, and then the date, which was revealing that it was going to be delayed yet again. I to your point, I just hope it's worth it. Like I'm willing for it to be worth the wait. I'm not saying we have to rush anything. I think that we've had so many false dates at this point. Like I think it would be perfectly fine if they, said, in 3 years, like, hey, we're expecting a 2028 release. I don't think we'll be talking about it as much. But now they're like, well, it's 2026. Now we're pushing it back to 27. Nah, it's 28. So even at the time of this recording, we're still waiting a year and a half to see this movie.
Yeah, disappointing.
So yeah. Yeah, I really hope it's worth the wait, but I mean they're filming now, so but also, I mean, even filming now for October 1st, 2027 seems reasonable. So I'm very curious of what the delay is for at the end of the day. Like, is it just they need more time for filming? They want to get the effects right? Like, there's got to be a reason why, but
Yeah.
obviously we're not privy to that information.
Yeah, I would love to know. But I guess we'll stay tuned for
Yep.
February of 2028.
Yep. We'll be there.
In some good casting news, so we have Jimmy Chatro, the comedian actor from American Vandal, most recently Scream 7, has been cast as Gorilla Grodd in upcoming Superman spinoff movie.
No, it's a series.
He's in the Jimmy Olsen series. That's right, spinoff
Yeah.
series from HBO Max centering on Skylar Gazondo's Jimmy Olsen. While casting will add to the buzz around the project, HBO has yet to officially greenlight the series. And casting for Superman Man of Tomorrow, they are bringing back Zolo Maraduena, who will reprise his role as Blue Beetle. So that's great news. We would always, I think, during that kind of weird transition period, we had Black Adam and Blue Beetle, and I believe the consensus was always that Blue Beetle, the character, will return to the DC. He will come over to the DC universe. I guess it was just a matter of when. And at least his movie, I guess, still stands.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. It is interesting that he is now being introduced in this movie. Just another character added. I know we were talking about before we started reporting that, like, all right, so Supergirl's going to be in this movie, Blue Beetle's going to be in this movie, the Justice Society is still in that movie. Like, we're already stacked, and I'm very curious of how all this mends together. Like, is this a cameo? Is it a bigger role? The same for Supergirl. We don't. I mean, the movie's currently filming now for next summer, so it's. I think it's it is next summer. Yeah, next summer. Like they're pumping this movie out really quickly, and so very curious. But I mean, James Gunn did say that he was going to return, and I guess he was right, true to his word on that. And then also very interesting about the casting for Gorilla Grodd. They did say that this was going to be centering around the Jimmy Olsen series. Clearly, they found an actor to play the role. But I guess they have to film the pilot for it to be greenlit for a full season.
So they only got a pilot treatment. They didn't get. So basically, they're gonna let them shoot the pilot, and then they'll determine from the pilot if they're gonna get a full series.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's James Gunn behind it. It's still his universe, so I would imagine that it would still be greenlit. So we'll see. But yeah, this is still centering around, like you just mentioned it. We are definitely very much in James Gunn universe right now. It doesn't feel like the DC universe as of yet.
Yeah, and I think them casting Gorilla Grodd is a good sign because Gorilla Grodd is one of the Flash's main villains. So
Mhm.
it'll be interesting to see, like, is Jimmy Olsen gonna lead into the Flash? Are we gonna get introduced to the Flash in the Jimmy Olsen series?
Right, right.
Or are they gonna wait for him to have his own movie? I don't know. I'm just curious to see, like, what's next on the horizon after Man of Tomorrow and after this Jimmy Olsen series and Lanterns and Clayface and
Yes.
like what's gonna be. I know they're not doing phases, but like what is gonna be the initially, like, after Man of the Tomorrow, what's gonna be the next big film on the DC slate?
Yeah, I'm very curious, like, to your point, once we get to Man of Tomorrow, like, what does the future hold for DCU? Because it still feels very much like, well, we have Clayface and Supergirl and Green Lanterns that James Gunn was a producer on. So I think those three, those three projects would be an indication of how this world and how this universe can be run with James Gunn at the helm rather than writing directing. But then there's other projects like Creature Commandos, Superman, Man of Tomorrow, this Jimmy Olsen series, kind of Supergirl, but like that's still very much the James Gunn universe at the moment. So
Peacemaker.
yes, that's right, Peacemaker. Yeah. So very curious how all that gets put together. Um, but I like Supergirl was not the best movie for me. So like now I start drawing questions, but I'm still here. I'm here for all the nerd shit. So like that's not going to deter me from not watching them. But now I'm like, okay, he's not as bulletproof as he once was. Coming off of like Superman and Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and even the Suicide Squad. That was a really great movie too. So I had like little doubts with the Peacemaker season 2, but it didn't. That movie, it was fine.
Yeah, it was
The whole
fine.
that second season was fine. But yeah, and then also they did we do know that they're doing that Robin hybrid animated movie that's coming out, I believe, in
Oh.
2028 or 2029. So
The
that's
dy-
exciting
The
to hear.
dynamic duo.
Yes, yeah. So that's an exciting project to hear to look forward to within this DC universe.
All right, that's a good point.
Yeah.
This next piece of news, I'm very excited about. Not even so much for the project. I'm just excited for the director. So Danny
Yeah.
McBride has signed on to write and direct a new G.I. Joe movie for Paramount Pictures. This would be McBride's feature-length directorial debut. We've seen him, he did The Righteous Gemstones. He's got a slew of shows on HBO Max, which, if you like Danny McBride, like, it's basically Danny McBride in different shows. Like, he just has he has this character that he plays, and he just translates it very well. Well, overall, I love him as a creative. I love his show. I actually really like all of his shows. I really liked Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Even the baseball one, Eastbound and Down, so raunchy, but it's so funny. Like he's just I'm here for his style of comedy. I think he's really funny. So plot details are being kept under wraps with no indication or whether or not this film will have any connection to the 2023 Transformers Rise of the Beast and where the Joes were teased at the end of the movie. It would be nice. I mean, it would be nice to at least just, they don't have to be fully connected, but we can have like another thing at the end that kind of links them back together. Like, here, you fight bad guys, you're G.I. Joe, look, there's Transformers.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine if this is like a solo movie with a tease of Transformers, and then in the next 2 or 3 years we get the promise of a G.I. Joe Transformers mix crossover. I would love that.
Yeah, and also, is this going to
for
be a continuation or any connection to the original slew of G.I. Joe movies? Like, wasn't
Very
Channing
true.
Tatum in one of them?
Yeah, Channing Tatum, Dwayne Johnson. Yeah.
Let's bring back The Rock.
Let's bring. I'm just saying, he's not doing so hot in the box office these days.
Yeah.
Have you seen Moana?
I haven't. I don't plan on seeing it.
And guess what? Nobody else did. We'll we'll talk about that more when we do our summer box office recap. But yeah, I'm very happy for Danny McBride. This is a very interesting project for him to dive into as his directorial debut for feature film. And he's been a writer on multiple movies. So like an oddball one that some people don't even know about or think about is that he was like a co-writer for the Halloween trilogy that came out.
Really? I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. So like he has range, and we don't, but we mainly see him in his HBO comedies, which he does great in. But I mean, he's created all those shows, so I'm expecting a little bit of comedy into these G.I. Joe movies. So,
Well, that
but
sounds about right. Like an action It's gonna, I would assume, like an action comedy of some sort.
yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, just give me He-Man again.
Yep, campy.
Like,
just like exactly. That's actually a really good point. Like, just
Yeah.
you know exactly what you are.
Yes, and let's just lean into it.
Yeah, let's just go full tilt.
Yeah, I'll be 100% down for that, and I think Danny McBride can easily be the director to give us that vibe.
100% agree. 100% agree.
So now we're getting into the territory of news that came out in the last few weeks, and this one has my attention. I'm like, okay. Universal and Imagine Entertainment are developing a sequel to 2000's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Jim Carrey, who starred as the Grinch, and the original director Ron Howard are in early talks to return. Jim Carrey returning for the Grinch is wild.
Yeah, iconic.
Iconic. And the fact that like he is notorious for like hating the shooting, like the production of this movie.
Yeah.
Like he's come out and said like he hated being in the suit. I mean, I'm just remembering here, but I'm pretty sure like it caused him to go into some depression.
Yes.
For the role, and it was really hard for him to be the Grinch. And I'm very surprised that now 26 years later we're getting word that he's, in talks of returning to the role in a story that will most likely be original, because there's not much after How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I believe they are sequels books, but who knows if they're going to tie into that much.
Yeah, I'm curious about this one, especially like the team that they have behind it. So like, are we gonna get more in an adult vibe, but like this needs to be a kid. It needs to be the Grinch. Like it needs to be a kids movie.
As you were mentioning, Brian Grazer, who co-founded the who co-founded Imagine with Howard, is expected to come back as a producer on the film. Talks are ongoing and things could fall apart. However, if it moves forward, the sequel will have a script by Alec Berg, who is responsible for Silicon Valley and the creator of Barry. Jeff Schaefer, who's the creator of The League and Dave, and Dave Mendel, who's worked on Veep. All three screenwriters also worked together on 2003's The Cat in the Hat, Euro Trip, The Dictator, and season 8 of Curb Your Enthusiasm. So these are a trio that has obviously worked together for quite some time, as well as separated into other projects. And to your point, I mean, The League is a comedy, Dave is a comedy, Barry's kind of a comedy, but I mean, I think it's classified as a comedy, but there's some like dark moments in there as well.
It's a dark comedy.
Yeah, I mean, all of these are comedies, so clearly it's going to be a comedy route for sure. But I don't know, man. I right now, like, give me a trailer. I trust Ron Howard. He's a hit or miss director for me. As I go back to like How the Grinch Stole Christmas, I remember, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I had rewatched the movie and it just didn't land for me when I was as a kid. But there's no denying that like Jim Carrey is iconic in the role.
Yeah, 100%.
So, we'll see how this turns out, but this was a very shocking piece of news when it came out a few weeks ago. Other one, not so shocking, which I think we might have mentioned this, but now this is turning into definitely official. A Shrek spinoff movie centered on Donkey is officially set to hit theaters June 30th, 2028. From DreamWorks Animation. Eddie Murphy is returning to voice his signature role in the film, which will serve as an origin story of how a donkey became Donkey. The film will simply be titled Donkey and will be directed by Charlie Bean, who is responsible for the Lego Ninjago movie and 2019's live action The Lady and the Tramp. And co-directed by Matt Flynn, whose story artist credits at DreamWorks include The Wild Robot, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and The Bad Guys.
Yeah, solid movies. I think we've, something that people have been wanting for a long time. We've got we got the Puss in Boots movies, and those did well. So why not?
Yeah.
Why not give Donkey his?
It's
about time.
I agree with you. I mean, if Puss in Boots can have his own movie, why not Donkey? Like he can definitely be his own vehicle for a movie. There's no one stopping that. Did you happen to see the trailer for Shrek 5?
No.
It's an interesting one.
I think what I did hear is that the animation is a little off from the original set of movies.
Yeah, so about a year ago, they gave us a teaser for Shrek 5, and a lot of people were just ripping that teaser apart. Less of a teaser, more of an announcement that like the animation was just completely weird. Now, over a year later, they've dropped yet a second trailer with basically saying, Shrek 5 coming out next summer, and it's more of definitely a teaser, and the animation looks better, but it definitely feels like, because it got delayed as well. So it's very curious of even why they decided to make a pivot in the animation itself, when these characters are very iconic in the way that they look.
Yeah, that is weird.
But then again, you have Puss in Boots: The Last Wish that definitely took some liberties with the animation in that as well, but it looked really, really good.
Yeah, like the animation on The Last Wish is just gorgeous.
Yeah, so and also the story was really good.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what the story is for Shrek 5. There were also questionable moments in there, like the gingerbread man was twerking in the trailer.
Of course.
But like he had gumdrops on his butt, and then he was twerking it, and he said something about like having a cake or something. But like it was like a butt joke. But either way, I was like, okay, so you're like, we're going back to being like a little bit raunchy.
Yeah.
As a which the first movie kind of was, but
but it did it more of like a tongue-in-cheek kind of way where it would really go over everybody's head as opposed to being like directly in your face.
Yes.
So
and there was even an Olaf joke in there where like they were going down a bad neighborhood and they saw a snowman, and I'm pretty sure I forgot what he said, but it was very like definitely Olaf coded. And then like Fiona was like, Shrek, let's just move a little faster. Like let's get out of this neighborhood. So like that was kind of funny, but it definitely feels like, just based off the trailer, it looks like you're leaning toward the adults rather than, gearing this toward kids. So,
and I think that
knows?
That could be problematic because
it could be.
Shrek 2 is like one of the best ones because I feel like it was geared. It is a movie geared towards kids, but there's a lot of adult undertones that are like underlayered. Like the top layer is like just on its surface like a kids movie, but it's like all the stuff, all the little things underneath that let you know that it's not. But it wasn't like in your face and like so deliberate. That would be my one caveat. Like I hope that they keep true to that, because then it makes it enjoyable for everybody. Adults can enjoy an adult version of the movie, and then kids can watch it and have their own version.
Yeah, we'll see how I'm very curious on Shrek 5, because for me that would determine my opinion on the Donkey spinoff.
That's fair.
When it comes out, literally they're about a year apart. So
yeah.
But also DreamWorks Animation, as we can see, is going full tilt back into the Shrek franchise.
Yeah.
So they want the money.
Come on, Eddie Murphy.
I mean, also him coming back too. To not do the role once, but twice. So like, they're just backing up the money truck. That's right.
Here you go.
I'll do Donkey all day. I'll say waffles. All right, moving on to Keanu Reeves in negotiation to star in a new Lego movie for Universal from Toy Story 4 director Josh Coley. Plot details are being kept under wraps, though. Deadline sources say that it will be a mix of live action and animation. Universal picked up the rights to develop, produce, and distribute the theatrical releases based on the Lego intellectual property and original ideas way back in 2020, but so far, nothing has elevated from this deal. Back in late 2024, as reported, a trio of projects were in the works at the studio, but there remains nothing to show for it on the big screen. I remember we talked about that, now 2 years ago, that they were like, we have all these projects coming up, and nothing. And I
nothing.
remember we talked about in 2020 that they acquired the rights to do Lego movies and nothing. So
Yeah.
I'm curious what the holdup is on that.
I guess they're just trying to find the right one, which I'm fine. Like, don't rush it. If like wait till you get a good one, and then let's do it. So
I guess, but eventually, if you're buying it, there's money on the table right there. Like you're not getting any return on the investment. But like, because the Lego can be a good brand, but getting a star like Keanu Reeves, that could help.
yeah, that'll definitely help. And you know what? His voice acting is great. Like Duke Kaboom, solid.
Yeah, but also like if it's a mix of animation and live action, his comedic style can also work in a Lego movie depending on how you do it.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to this.
Yeah, I think this could be a fun movie.
All right, we got some Netflix news. So Ryan Coogler's Proximity Media production company has signed an overall deal with Netflix to develop TV shows. It's a major move as it comes at the end of Coogler's 5-year TV deal with Disney. Under Disney, Proximity Media was responsible for Ironheart, Eyes of Wakanda, National Geographic docuseries Hurricane Trina: A Race Against Time, and the upcoming X-File reboot series on Hulu. Quinta Brunson has signed a big 5-year overall deal with 20th Television for her 5th Chance production company. She is coming off a 4-year overall deal at Warner Brothers, and which produces the Emmy-winning ABC Abbott Elementary in association with 20th TV, a part of Disney TV Studios. Under the new deal, Brunson will write, develop, and executive produce TV series across Disney Entertainment Television brands and platforms. So exciting seeing the shift between both of them moving where they were to kind of going to new areas. So
yeah,
I love Ryan Coogler. It will be interesting to see Ryan Coogler kind of unleashed into something different, out of Disney, completely out of Disney, more back to some more original ideas. Maybe something closer to what Fruitvale Station was, like, or not even that wasn't even an original story. That was a true story being retold. But we've seen him. He took on Creed. He did Creed 1 and 3, and then he did Black Panther.
No, he just did 1.
He did. Oh no, excuse me.
Michael B. Jordan did.
Michael
3.
B. Jordan directed 3. Excuse me. That's right. Yeah. That's correct. So yeah, he did do Creed, and then he did Black Panther. Yeah. So he did he do Ironheart? No, he just produced Ironheart.
He produced it, yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see him get away from these massive IPs.
Yeah, I think and honestly, like him coming out with Disney and then also seeing what he did with Sinners, I
Very
think
true.
Pairing with Netflix, I believe it's a better move. Like Netflix got the better end of the deal than Ryan Coogler did.
Yeah, they got Ryan Coogler.
They got Ryan Coogler. Like, to me, any project that he works on, like, that's instantly going to be a driver for Netflix for people to go check it out. I'm definitely going to be one of them. It
is interesting that after, and I can't believe I completely forgot about Sinners. It is interesting that after what he did for Warner Brothers and, giving them Sinners, that they weren't able to have a deal to secure him.
Yeah,
for something for them.
Especially for, like, imagine if he worked out a deal with Warner Brothers to do like stuff for HBO. I mean,
that's what I'm like, an HBO series by Ryan Coogler.
Coogler. I mean, it writes itself.
Absolutely.
But it's only Netflix to gain out of that. So maybe there was a bidding war and they were able to get him. He was looking to leave Disney, and I think this is a good move for Ryan Coogler. I think pairing with Netflix gives him the opportunity to probably work on, like more, or like you said, more original projects and more maybe movies or TV shows that he wants to work on, rather than clearly when he was at Disney, he was definitely staying in the Marvel bubble within that process. So I think it's a better fit. And then with Quinta Brunson, her leaving, technically it's like kind of shifting over because Abbott Elementary was in partnership with Warner Brothers and 20th Television. So now she's just like going over to 20th Television and just producing more shows for them exclusively, rather than ABC like partnering, or Disney partnering with Warner Brothers for Abbott Elementary. It's now Disney getting Quinta Brunson to make shows for Disney.
I also didn't realize that they changed the name to 20th Television, so it kind of threw me off because this is what used to be 20th Century Fox.
Yes.
So now it's just 20th Television, which is I'm sorry, but that's a dumb name. I mean, 20. I actually, when I originally read it, because I didn't know about the change, when I originally was reading it, I was like, oh, he forgot to put Century Fox. And then I look at the graphic, I go, nope, that's not right.
Nope. No, it is very much they dropped the century. So I think it's 20th Century Films, and then there's 20th Television. I don't know why they just dropped the century. I understand why you dropped the Fox, but yeah,
We don't care about Fox. Get out of here.
yeah, get out of here. But yeah, they changed it to that. So like 20th Television, a lot of 20th shows and movies pretty much land on Hulu.
All right. Well, yeah,
That's the avenue.
I'm curious to see what's gonna like what is next for Quinta after the massive success of Abbott Elementary. So
yeah, what's the next show you got in store? Basically?
Yeah, I'm very, very excited. I'm actually really excited for this next piece of news. A live-action Magic School Bus movie based on the children's books and 90s PBS animated series is regaining momentum after 6 years in development. Legendary Entertainment has acquired the rights from Universal, which initially started the project back in 2020. Elizabeth Banks, which initially started Elizabeth is still attached to play the quirky teacher Miss Frizzle, with Rob Letterman, Pokemon Detective Pikachu, Monsters vs. Alien, and Shark Tales signing on to write and direct the film. Though plot details for the movie haven't been confirmed, the educational series follows Miss Frizzle and her class as they go on field trips in their yellow school bus, and they magically transforms into everything from a plane to submarine to a spaceship and surfboard, and help them navigate terrain like outer space and the human body. Yeah, I think this is exciting. This is like my childhood being called out in movie form, and I think that's the audience they're going for. They're going for people like us who grew up watching it. Probably more like me, because you're old. Because I'm not as old.
You're old.
I'm old.
You're old.
This was my childhood.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, I grew up watching, like, it was probably like at that point reruns, but like, I mean, yeah, I grew up watching Magic School Bus. They still played in the schools. I
would still argue that Kate McKinnon would make a better Miss Frizzle than Elizabeth Banks.
I don't disagree with you there.
But yeah, I just think she's just more, I think she just fits the quirkier vibe more. Like maybe Elizabeth Banks kind of looks like her, how they would draw her more. Like she has the look, but Kate McKinnon definitely has the vibe down.
What I find interesting is that Legendary Entertainment, the studio that gives you Godzilla vs. Kong and Dune, is the one that bought the rights to the Magic School Bus movie.
That's funny. Just put those posters right next to each other.
Yeah. Can you imagine like the trailer, like from the studio that gave you Godzilla vs. Kong and Dune brings you the School Bus, Magic School Bus, the movie.
And you know what? It's got to have the theme. The theme song's got to be in there somewhere.
Oh, that theme song slaps. Yeah. Yeah, why not? I mean, I think it could be really a fun, if they lean down the kid route, which I believe they should, it could be a fun revisiting for a new generation.
Yeah.
For kids.
And then a good way to revitalize the series. And even
100%.
Because the older series, and I believe Netflix did a reboot.
Did they?
Let me double check. But
I'm not sure about that. I mean, I'm not seeking for it, so I don't know. But I don't remember if they're doing a reboot. But also, this is like a second movie that Elizabeth Banks has been part of, like to like reinvent or reboot a classic '90s property. She did the same thing with Power Rangers when she played the villain. I forgot the name.
Rita Repulsa.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. I thought I remember that. Netflix released The Magic School Bus Rides Again, a modern reboot and continuation of the 1990s animated classic, which ran for 2 seasons from 2017 to 2021.
Wow.
The series features Kate McKinnon as the voice of Fiona Frizzle and the younger sister of iconic Miss Valerie Frizzle, voiced by Lily Tomlin.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Oh, and apparently the updated theme song was performed by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
What? That's the most shocking thing out of the whole.
When the fuck did this happen? We've missed this.
I guess
Right.
so. Just
Next
went
week's
right
epi-
over.
Next week's episode, we're gonna do the watch along, and no.
Oh, that's hilarious. But yeah, again, why not? I mean, I guess obviously Netflix tried, and why not give it a movie? All right, moving on to Chris Sanders, who is the co-creator of 2002's animated Lilo and Stitch, as well as the voice of Stitch, has signed on to write and direct the upcoming live-action Lilo and Stitch 2 movie, slated to hit theaters May 26, 2028. Dean Fletcher Camp, who directed the first live-action Lilo and Stitch film, will not be returning. Maya Kelahona and Sydney Agudong, who play Lilo and Nani, are also returning for the sequel. Plot details are still unknown.
Yeah, I mean the first
Interesting.
one, I actually, out of the live actions, this one's probably the main one that I like.
It's okay. It's I didn't love it, but I don't mind it.
I enjoyed it. It was at least enjoyable.
Yeah, and it definitely brought the spirit of Lilo and Stitch. What I find interesting with that is that obviously the Chris Sanders, he was involved with the first movie. He's also the co-director behind How to Train Your Dragon, and most recently he gave us the Wild Robot. So this man can do no wrong.
True.
He's iconically the voice of Stitch, and he was for the animated and the live action version. So I'm very curious of the drama, I guess, that happened behind the scenes for Dean Fletcher Camp, who's notorious of not really doing well conforming to uh the Disney way, because I think he was getting a lot of he had to jump through a lot of hurdles. He had a rough production with Disney, so I'm not too surprised that he wasn't coming back. But then they secured Chris Sanders, now coming back from a movie that he directed way, over 20 years ago, and now developing a sequel to the live action version. Very interesting. This movie now has me very intrigued, and actually like, okay, now this is the man who gave me the Wild Robot. What can you do with Lilo and Stitch now, 20 something years later, on a property that you created?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where it kind of goes from here.
Yeah, I'm expecting a heartfelt movie. And if this movie can make me cry, then here we are.
Here we are.
Like all the other movies he's been a part of. But yeah, this honestly, this announcement has got me now. It's like, all right, I'm here for it too. Let's do this. Why not?
Matt is now listening.
Now I'm listening. Here we go. And moving on to a piece of random news, in my opinion. Ice Cube and Nia Long are reuniting for a third "Are We There Yet" movie titled Are They Gone Yet?" for Skydance Sports. And I thought that was wrong, but no, the studio is Skydance Sports. The film is still in early development, with newcomer Chris Hazard and Mike Fontana writing the script, which sees Nick face his biggest challenge yet: grandkids.
Yeah, I liked the Are We There Yet? It's a good series. I'm kind of here for it. They were fine. They're good. They're good they're good kids movies to put on.
I'm not expecting much out of this, to be
No,
honest.
no. Like I wouldn't be surprised if this went. This is obviously going to theaters, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was like a straight to streaming.
Yeah, I mean, Skydance, so we were probably looking at a Paramount. This could easily be a Paramount Plus movie.
Easy.
And easy. But yeah, I mean, that's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't really care for it. I remember liking these when I was a kid, but I feel like that was, those are early 2000 movies. Like, are we going to try to replicate the same comedy? Are the kids coming back? They didn't really announce that, so
It's a whole vibe. 2000s
whole
comedy is a whole vibe.
100%.
Yeah.
100% the whole vibe.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right.
Moving on in some news that I know Matt is very excited for. I guess I'm excited for it too. The Television Academy has announced the nominees for the 78th Primetime Emmy Awards. I don't know why I just read it like that. For outstanding, the Hunger Games. For outstanding drama series, The Diplomat, The Gilded Age, A Night of Seven Kingdoms, Paradise, The Pit, Pluribus, Slow Horses, and Your Friends and Neighbors. For outstanding comedy series, we have Abbott Elementary, which we just talked about, The Bear, Hacks. Martin, now for The Bear, is that for the last season of The Bear?
No,
That's for this season.
season 4.
So
No. So the last season 5 that just happened.
That's what I meant.
This yeah. So this would be for season 4.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So this nomination is not for the season that just dropped. This is for
Correct.
the season prior.
Correct.
We also have Hacks, the final season.
Yes.
Final season of the Hacks. Margot's Got Money Troubles. Nobody Wants This. Only Murders in the Building. Shrinking and Widow's Bay for outstanding limited series, we have All Her Fault, The Beast in Me, Widow's Bay. Oh, excuse me. All Her Fault, The Beast in Me, Beef, DTF St. Louis, and Love Story. John F. Kennedy and Carol Bassett. Oh, and Love Story. John F. Kennedy. Sorry, I separated it weird. DTF St. Louis and Love Story. John F. Kennedy and Carolyn Bassett. The winners of the 78th Primetime Emmys will air live on NBC and Peacock on Monday, September 14th. So exciting. We got the nomination. So yeah, I do like this time because it kind of gives me like, oh, what are some shows that I've missed that I can hop onto before the Emmys. So this I always love when the noms come out. So
yeah, and particularly for The Bear, since it's a summer release, it's like at the start of the Emmy like season where they start like looking into movies for the next year. So like where other movies like Widow's Bay and like The Pit, like they came out earlier this year. Sorry?
You said
other shows, shows, you're right. Like they came out later in like I think the time frame is like June or July through March. That kind of falls in that, like those movies in between there are then now looked at for, Emmy awards. So, but The Bear is always out like at the beginning of that. So like the nominations go a full cycle and the whole new season's already out when they're looking for that. So like technically for next year's Emmys, they will be looking at season 5 if it were to get nominated. So, but yeah, I think I found like kind of interesting. But yeah, to your point, this kind of gives you a gauge on like the shows that if you haven't watched them, it could be a good time to watch it. Like even for drama series, you're about to talk about Paradise. We watched The Pit and Pluribus, new season of Friends and Neighbors. A couple of shows I feel like that would have been nominated, but I don't see it on here. I can't really think of it on the top of my head, but very surprising that some of these are not on here. I'm surprising with the list because I wouldn't even classify Your Friends and Neighbors as a drama.
No, it's definitely a comedy.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. A lot of returning people for the comedy series. We got newcomers as Margot's Got Money Troubles and Widow's Bay. So those are the two shows I'm probably going to start looking into next because I heard nothing but great things about it, and they're both on Apple TV, which always has bangers on their streaming service. Very surprising that Rooster did not make the list.
Yeah, I loved Rooster.
Yeah, so did I. But Steve Carell did get a nomination for best comedic actor in a leading role. So, but not the show, which is surprising.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I haven't checked out any limited series that's on this list. So maybe I think the only one that I have interest. Oh no, we saw Beef.
Yeah, we
saw Beef season 2. But I'm interested in watching DTF St. Louis, so might check that out. But yeah, September 14th. We'll be talking about the winners then in the fall. And lastly, we're going to talk about the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences. They made an interesting announcement. And I don't know how I feel about it, but here we go. They announced the Academy Marquee List, a global award designed to recognize the most remarkable movie theaters around the world and honor the very best in exhibition. The Academy says it will recognize theaters that provide exceptional audience experiences, preserve cinematic history, and serve as cultural anchors in their communities. The initiative will launch in spring of 2027. This effort will bring much needed recognition to the movie-going experience. Bring recognition to the movie-going experience will include 25 theaters from the United States and 25 international theaters. A committee of Academy members across all branches will select the theaters, and these will be approved by the Academy Board of Governors. Eligible movie theaters must be brick-and-mortar theaters that operate year-round, and can be located anywhere in the world. Theaters may show first run films or repertory screenings. The elevation criteria for the movie theaters include the following factors: community engagement, visual and audio presentation, programming diversity, inclusion accessibility, historical significance, and preservation, theater design, lighting conditions, and concessions. Selected movie theaters won't be getting an actual Oscar statue or necessarily any recognition from the Academy Awards themselves, but it will be featured on the Academy's digital platforms, including its website and social media channels, and receive a physical certification to display in their lobbies.
Here's a piece of paper. You made it.
So, so it's twofold. I like that they're recognizing theaters, but they're not really doing anything for the theater.
No, it's like a Infinity Vision for the Academy. These are the ones that make that are really worth going to.
Yeah, I feel like this is almost in service of the Academy more than it is for the theater that they're selecting.
Yeah,
because sure, the theater can be like, hey, we are Academy, a marquee theater. Here's our piece of paper. But it's not like the Academy is like these movie theaters would be awarded extra funding to keep up what they're doing. It's not like that. These are the theaters that we're going to I don't know, host the Academy on certain events or something. Like there's really not incentive for any of these movie theaters to participate in this. However,
but they
the
can
Enzian,
have the Academy recognize them as a theater. That's it.
I will argue that the Enzian in here in Orlando, Winter Park, fits the bill very nicely.
Yeah, I would love to eventually go to the Enzian.
You need to go to the Enzian. Yeah. Even if you just go to the bar, their food is great. The vibe is fantastic. And they just upgraded to their film projector. They basically like a GoFundMe to get enough money to basically enhance their audio system and their projector. And now, which is something that I'm going to be a part of tomorrow at the time of this recording, their first movie theater, their first screening that they're having their new film projector on will be the Odyssey.
Nice.
So they are showcasing the Odyssey in 70 millimeter, one of the few places in the United States that are even doing that. So it's great that they were able to get the money to do that, as well as having that be in our own backyard.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's right. That's very true. Yeah, I want to make a field trip.
Yes, 100% make a field trip.
We'll go to the Enzian and watch a movie.
Yes, I've been there several times. I've watched the Oscars there actually several times. And so it's always a good vibe. It's kind of a dining theater as well, so they'll serve you and you serve your popcorn, food, anything at the bar they can serve you at the theater. I feel like if there was one place that I can see that I've gotten either the most tipsy or drunk at, it's at the Enzian. It's a great place to be at. It's a great place. I like it there. They have great drinks.
All right.
But there you go. That is all the entertainment news we have for you guys this week. As always, you can follow us on our social media channels on Facebook at Box Office Bingers and our Threads and Instagram page at boxoffice_bingers. We'll post all the entertainment news over there first, and then we'll come back in the show and we'll talk about it. So with that, we're going to be diving into a fun segment we like to call Whatcha Watchin, and it's another stacked one for sure.
So I guess I'll kick this off, Matthew. I'm going to start with, I watched the entire season 2 of Paradise. And I have to tell you, I was a little skeptical at first, but totally on board. So the series absolutely redeemed itself. I mean, overall, it's a great series for them. They've like set up what the next phase of what this show is going to be about. Like basically, okay. I don't want to give too much away, but the first 2 seasons feel almost like a volume, like its own story, with season 2 closing out that chapter. But they leave it open to start what the next phase of this series was actually going to be. Like basically, the first 2 seasons is basically just set up for the entire rest of the show. And I just think, as far as writing, it's probably some of the best I've seen in a really long time. For the fact that they gave you a full story in the first 2 seasons. And that they were able to, like, it's its own, like, thing. Like, it's its own full story. The first 2 seasons, it fully closes out chapter, and I think that they do a really, really good job of doing that. But
I'm actually quite surprised to hear that because even I love the first season of
Same.
Paradise, and I was, as you, skeptical and like, I don't know, this feels like it's like a nice contained limited series. But I've also heard nothing but great things about season 2, and now you're just confirming it.
oh, season 2 was great. It was they brought in Shailene Woodley. She has a cameo for a few episodes, and she's absolutely fantastic. And I think just them, for those who haven't seen it, we get a lot of time on the outside of the Paradise Society.
Yeah.
So my only thing is that Paradise is just very network TV. Like it's just like in the way that it's constructed and like the way that it's shot and presented, which I'm fine with, but I feel like you need to know that going into it because it watches different than like something you would watch on a normal streamer. Right. But fantastic. Sterling K. Brown, he just doesn't miss. Like he's just so good.
It's kind of a show that kind of like we talked about watching. We talked about watching this a lot earlier, but again, with everything else, by the time we were going to think about watching this, it was like, another show's coming out, and that was take priority, and then kind of just falls down the chain there. But I'm definitely want to watch this, especially now that they got nominated for an Emmy. All right, well, I guess that no, it would have been the second season.
Yeah, it would be. It's the second season.
It would be, yeah. So yeah, I definitely want to check it out before the award. So we'll have this conversation again soon.
All right. Well, I definitely want to hear your thoughts about this when you do eventually watch it. All right. So now I'm gonna move on. This is more of like an old rewatch. So I actually watched Ride Along 1 and 2. So that's Kevin Hart. This is a buddy cop comedy with Ice Cube and Kevin Hart. And this was in like this is like early to mid 2000s teens. And I feel like after watching it, I go, man, we don't really see buddy cop movies like this very often anymore. It's a very surface level story. Kevin Hart's trying to earn the approval of Ice Cube to marry Ice Cube's sister. And it was just like, it's good. It's cheesy jokes, setups, but like you have the basic story, but it's really about each scene setup, and it's like the jokes, the one-liners that the scene calls for. Like I feel like they shoot a scene and like, all right, let's like what just let Kevin Hart go crazy. Like you just improv like this situation. That's kind of like what it feels like, but it was fine. It was good. Very cheesy jokes. Some jokes like I'm like, wow, you can't say that joke today. Like that joke doesn't land the same way it did when this movie came out, I'm sure.
Is this you rewatching it or watching it for the first time?
I don't remember if I've ever seen it. I feel like I did when it came out. Because there's like a bunch of these, like Central Intelligence and they're very all these movies are very similar, and like most of them have Kevin Hart in them. Yeah,
very true. Either that or Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, exactly. Or
Dwayne Johnson, or it's there.
It's there. So it was good. It was good to see like a movie from another time, because like we don't really have that anymore.
No, I mean, I'm trying to think of the last movie that like had that vibe like very recently, and even if we did it, I feel like a lot of those movies are now on streaming. There's a new movie that just came out not too long ago called like Balls Off.
I'm sorry. Excuse me.
I think it's what it's.
Matthew.
What'd you call me?
Also, it was really interesting to watch Ride Along 2 because Glenn Powell's in it. He's in like he's in like the opening sequence.
Oh, really? Is he really?
He's like he's like a thug that Ice Cube apprehends and like leads to like the main story. But like it's Glenn Powell. I was like, oh wow, look at Glenn Powell. Like I didn't even look at you.
The movie was called Balls Up with Mark Wahlberg and Paul Walter Hauser. That was on Amazon Prime. It came out in April. People were calling this movie atrocious. Like it's not good. But I feel like that kind of fits the vibe of the raunchy buddy cop vibe, like the movie, like a raunchy comedy buddy cop type of deal, like buddy movie. And there are others out there, but I feel like a lot of those movies just go straight to streaming. But I think to your point, the buddy angle doesn't go in theaters anymore.
No, not really. Like these aren't big releases like they used to be.
No, they're not. They're very much not. What was the other movie that we felt was really good? It had a buddy thing to it, but it was John Cena and Idris Elba came out last year. Heads of State.
Heads of State, yeah.
Yeah,
That's kind of similar. That's kind of same vibe. But what I mean is like these movies, like you were saying, like these movies, they usually go straight to streaming. We don't see these movies going into the theaters that much anymore.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the last time I saw a movie like that in the theaters. And I mean, arguably, we said the same thing about like Scary Movie and those vibes. And they're slowly creeping their way back into theaters, and those are hit or misses at this point.
Yeah. So the next movie I want to talk about is Young Washington. I was very skeptical about this movie. I don't know why I wanted to go see this movie, but I did. Like I guess it kind of lined up. I was like, oh, I got time for a double feature. So so this is the one that definitely lined up. And it was actually a lot better than I thought it was be. It's like this polished version of history, of like a good character study of a young George Washington, of like his formative military years, and kind of like going through his failures that led to the leader that he was for our nation. I enjoyed it as a character study. It did feel like a polished view of history. There were some spots that were just really like they're traveling and they're in the woods and it's like everybody's clean. like nobody's dirty. Like what's going, like everybody's it just felt too polished. But I did love how it showcased like Washington's determination and his period. I felt like it got the essence of it, and I was reading that it's broadly true to major events. There's a lot of things that happen, but like anything, they take dramatic liberties. But overall, it was really, really good, and it's one that's good for the entire family.
Yeah, this is by Angel Studios, which is notoriously known for being like a Christian movie studio. But this studio has also come out with what was one of their big movies that came out a few years ago. Man, I can see the poster. I can't recall the name. It was about like a guy trying to find the sex trafficker.
Oh my gosh, what is the name of that movie?
Yes, and that was from the same studio, and it was a really, really good movie. There's been a lot of praise around Angel Studios and the movies that they produce. It's very curious and also very interesting in the projects they decide
Sound of
to
Freedom
do as well. Sound of Freedom, thank you. There's another movie that I wanted to see from the studio that came out earlier this year called I Was a Stranger, also based on true events. But
that's not Angel. Is that Angel Studios too?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Also, they have a lot of movies coming out. Like I was watching I was getting ready to watch Young Washington, and it was like 5 to 6 trailers of all Angel Studios. One of them's got Alan Richardson and Owen Wilson. They're doing this movie. They're doing like I don't even want to say a buddy. It's not a buddy cop movie. It's like almost like The Transporter. Like he's like Alan Richardson is Jason Statham, and he's got to like transport something to this little girl who's like she needs a heart transplant.
Yes.
It looks fine. It looks good. It was just kind of interesting, a very interesting pairing, Owen Wilson and Alan Richardson. Like I never have thought to put those two together. It's
called Runner.
Yeah.
And it comes out on September 11th. But yeah, it is interesting because now the studio is getting bigger names attached to it. So I feel like it was like a small studio, and now it's definitely becoming now a household name. And honestly, like I think there's a little bit of like a bias that it's trying to overcome, because at first they're like, oh, this is very preachy studio. They're having a one-sided angle to all of this, but I know some of these movies that I've been watching is like, no, I think it's a pretty solid lineup that they've been producing under this banner of films, and I really do appreciate that. Like it definitely has a different vibe to like your normal like normal cinema.
Also, Young Washington had quite a few big names in it. We had Ben Kingsley, had Andy Serkis, and Kelsey Grammer all in this movie, who all played very big roles in this film. It was very good. It was very good.
Yeah.
Just
Andy Serkis came out with Animal Farm just recently, an animated movie, and he directed it, and it was also by Angel Studio.
yeah, I was just gonna say I was looking up their slate and I was like, oh yeah, they did do that. They also have a movie with Jeff Daniels who's gonna play Ronald Reagan called The Brink of War. That actually looks kind of interesting. That comes out in August 14th, and we have Runner, Angel and the Bad Man, starring Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh wow!
There's a movie called Drummer Boy, an action musical that's coming out. Oh, they're also doing the biopic of Hershey, of like Hershey chocolate, that comes out in November.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, they're just pumping these out like no one's business.
huh? Oh
So
yeah,
they're just pumping these out like it's no one's business.
and they have a movie at the end of the year, so they're bringing back Jim Caviezel, who was in Sound of Freedom, and also Sam Worthington for a movie called Zero AD. So they've got I think not only do they have a big slate, but it's also like very varied in the kind of projects that they're doing.
Yeah, and also like they found their audience. Like these movies make money. I think the budget's pretty low, and they're willing to make pretty decent turnouts on all these movies that they've been producing. Obviously, the famous one was Sounds of Freedom, making over $100 million on a very low budget. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely found. I feel like they definitely have a place, and a different option for moviegoers. But would you recommend Young Washington?
I would actually. I would
Yeah.
actually recommend this movie to anybody. I thought it was pretty good. It's actually a good movie for all audiences. Like it's kind of they leave it so where it's kind of good for kids and adults.
Okay. All right.
All right. So let's move along to actually it's you now. It's you. That's it for me.
Okay. What I forgot what the first one was.
Burrows.
The Burrows. Yeah, so this is actually really funny. This was a show that Megan was recommending to me because she had started it. And then I was like, all right, I'll watch it. And then I caught up with her and then we finished it off together. It's basically the last project that the Duffer Brothers worked on with Netflix before they kind of now left and are now working with Paramount on the project they're working on. And I'm not sure if it was meant to be for multiple seasons, but I heard a lot of people said it was good, and then like even before I started watching it, it got canceled after the first season. I feel like it was very similar to like how Mike Flanagan's show got canceled after the first season because they signed a deal with another studio, so Netflix wasn't going to continue on their projects if they weren't going to work for have an exclusive deal with the studio anymore. So I don't think they really, in my opinion, really set up for a season two. But they ended it, which I was happy with. But it was very much the vibe of, and I saw a lot of people compare to this, and I agree. It's like it's like Stranger Things, but with old people. Like, this guy goes to like this basically a retirement community. Alfred Molina did, and then weird shit starts happening. And then as the show moves on, and then he starts forming a group of people you see on the poster of like people are all in on the conspiracy of this weird shit that's happening in the town. And then the show kind of reveals itself of what's actually going on. And it is weird, I'm not gonna lie. It took me a while to get into it, and even when it ended, I feel like it was a little anticlimactic. I don't feel like it was like the best show. Megan would argue and say this show was really good. I think it had its moments, but I definitely felt like it had like a lot of slow moments where I'm kind of out of the movie, or I'm out of the series. I'm just kind of waiting for it to end type of vibe.
Scrolling.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't hate it. Like I think it was I think it was enjoyable for what it was. But I don't think there were a lot of moments throughout this show that really hooked me. Was really getting invested. Because especially when they gave us like some reveals and it's like, oh, that's what it is. Okay, like I'm down for it, but I'm like, whoa, I didn't feel that way. But I mean, for anyone who's interested, I definitely recommend it. I don't think it was a bad show. But just keep in mind that this only has one season, so it's not going for a season two.
Oh, okay.
Moving on to the other thing that I had watched, Power Ballad.
I like how I know you. I was like, I bet he doesn't remember.
I don't remember at all. I remember when we were talking about. I don't remember the order. This one I saw in theaters. This is actually a double feature that it was like I sent this to you last minute, not last minute, but like in the sense of like I forgot that I had watched this. I did a double feature with Disclosure Day, and I watched Power Ballad, and we did Disclosure Day about a month ago at this point. And it's crazy to think about Disclosure Day was a month ago. Like no one's talking about that movie.
Yeah, it just kind of came and went like the week that it was released.
Yeah, seriously. But this movie, I think, came out the same week as Disclosure Day, and I have to say it's really good. And actually, now that I'm looking at the poster, I didn't realize it was the same director from Once and Sing Street, and I love both of those movies.
Hmm. I don't
Uh,
think I've seen
so
those.
oh wait, maybe I didn't see Once. I definitely saw Sing Street, and I love Sing Street. I have to go back and see if I saw Once or not. But I didn't realize that was that same director. But he knows how to do like music movies.
Mm.
And definitely like have the music like it's like the music and the artistry and the love for the music and all that stuff. He does that really well, and I think it was same way for this movie. Paul Rudd is like an aspiring musician who who kind of has love for it and is really knowledgeable about it, and he has like his niche of doing like these he's basically like a wedding band, and he does really great stuff at it, but he strives for greatness. And Nick Jonas plays the superstar, and he happens to be playing at a wedding that Nick Jonas, like it was Nick Jonas's best friend's wedding that they hired this cover band for. So they kind of met that way, and they developed the song together. And about a year or so later, uh like I'm not sure of the lyrics, but definitely like the music was very similar to the music that they were kind of collaborating on that one night. And so now Paul Rudd is basically like, Nick Jonas stole my song, like we wrote it together, but he got zero credit for it. And basically the whole movie is about him trying to get the credit that he deserves, because this could have been like kind of his validation that he could have been like this big star, like he did
Yeah,
create it.
yeah. It
um
looked, it looked really good. I was very
it
interested in
was
seeing this.
I was like, there was an emotional. I thought it would be like just like a straight comedy, but there was an emotional angle to this that I just wasn't expecting, and like it had me tearing up a little bit as well. So I mean, I think this movie's available like on VOD right now, so you can rent it. I definitely highly recommend this movie. I thought it was really good. It's like a kind of like a hidden gem of the summer, in my opinion.
Mm.
Like this movie didn't even crack the top 5 in the box office. It made like very little money. I know it was weird because you have Paul Rudd and Nick Jonas attached to it, but I don't think it was just given the funding to like really market this movie properly.
Mm.
But I think it can find its home on streaming once it gets there.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend this movie, whether you watch it, whether you rent it or you wait for it to come on streaming. And all right, now we're watching. Now we're gonna be in the part of the What You're Watching segment where Ernesto and I have both seen uh the things that we are talking about. And the first thing we are talking about is the final season of Hacks.
Yeah,
Ernesto,
a show that who watched it first? Was it you or me? One of us
I
watched
don't
it first.
yeah, one of us watched it first.
I want to say it was me. I feel like I watched it and I told you to watch it, or either you watched it and told me to watch it, and then we've been
Yeah.
like, but this has been we've been on this train since season 1.
Yes.
I think it was a very satisfying ending, a kind of
Yes.
way to like wrap up everything that's happened, and like I felt like everything mattered leading up to this final season, and this was just like a great way to kind of like close it out. I really loved like the episode where the little Debbies are petitioning for her to play at the Garden with the booking agent with the actress. I can't remember her name. The
She
one
was from Ted.
From Ted. She's the waitress from Waiting.
Yes.
She was great. I thought having her in there, I thought she was a great. I mean, that whole episode, I loved. They were just sending her shit, and like till eventually she was like, "All right, you can do it." Also, but I would have to say one of my favorite episodes is the Amazing Race episode. Was
Oh, really?
absolutely incredible when they they do this whole thing at the end, and she gives up. She gives that speech at the end. She's like, I can do it one more time. And then she fucks up on the first. She's like, fuck this. I don't want to do this anymore. To me, it was just so funny. It was just so fun. And I feel like the season is just riddled with a lot of moments like that. And like really wrapping it up at the end with this emotional beat where she's trying to come to terms with if she's gonna die or not. And like they go on this trip together where it's like her final goodbye. It was really, really good.
Yeah, one of my favorite episodes out of this season was actually episode 7. I think it was called Montecito, where she is like she wants the suit for her
Yes.
for her what do you call it at the
Her.
garden, her performance, her stand-up performance,
Yeah.
and her stand-up show. and like they went through this whole process of pretending to be a gay couple in front of a gay couple, and like they're trying to play nice and like be relatable, and how much of their working relationship and their friendship is very much like a relationship.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed watching the parallels. It was funny as hell of like seeing like Deborah kind of her plan backfire and what's her name? And Ava really just eating it up. Like she's like, "You did what? Like what situation did you just put me in?" And then it completely backfired on Deborah and it was just comedic gold. And to have that like kind of live out a standalone episode close to the finale, I mean, this is what this show does really well at.
Yeah, no, I agree. That actually kind of reminds me of, I think it was last season when they were lost in the woods, but it became like
Yes.
this episode where of like introspection for them as characters.
Hmm.
But I agree with you. That episode was one of the was one of the highlights because of that, of them wanting to get that introspection of like them, like you, it is wrapped around this silly thing that she's trying to achieve, but then it turns into this thing of them discovering a lot about themselves as
Yeah.
characters and each other as as their working relationship, and like kind of seeing where they are in each other's lives. It was, I mean, just really well done.
Yeah, another piece of the show that I really enjoyed. Again, we're talking spoilers here from here on out. For all their other movies and shows that we're talking about. But the one that actually I feel like I got some validation on was that I feel like that things are wrapping up too neatly. It was like, oh, like she wants to play at the garden. Okay, the Debbie's got her to get to play at the garden. She wants this. She wants scat. Like she's working really hard to get there, but I feel like everything was just kind of falling into place. There was a whole stunt of her like trying to sell tickets to the garden, but she couldn't do any publicity things. And then trying to find loopholes around that, which was a fun idea. And then like the garden selling out and like it was just sold out in 5 minutes. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, there's no way that this this stand-up comedian sold out that quickly, given what the show was presenting. And then the fact that it wasn't actually sold out, it was that son of a bitch who bought all the tickets. Uh, to me, I was like, "Oh, okay, so it wasn't that easy." And to me, that's when I got a bigger appreciation from the show where it's not just funny jokes that we're doing. Now we're getting into the heart of the story and like really seeing what you do. How do you get into these circumstances? How do you get out of these circumstances? And what you got, how they got put into them, and then how you get out of them, and like seeing how they kind of like the willingness they were willing to go to kind of get into like I'm trying to dancing around here. The like once that problem happened, the way that they got out and like try to spin this and like then perform in Central Park and like having a better show than what was intended for Madison Square Garden, like to me that whole process, that whole episode, really solidified like yeah, this is great TV right here.
Yeah, I also love the fact that they were willing to end it. They ended it on such a
Hmm.
high. Like they could have easily tried to stretch out to another season,
Hmm.
but I think story wise, it ended perfectly.
Yeah, you're right. This easily could have lasted for 6, 7, 8 seasons. There was no stopping this, but even like what they did for Jimmy, as a like a talent agent, like they gave him a very satisfying ending to his story. And there's a point like, damn, like they lost their agency, has to go back to working for her dad, and that was kind of sad that they put him in the mailroom. But then because of that and his skill set, like they were able to spin that, and then they kind of came out on top on the end. And then you're having this emotional journey with Ava and Deborah, where like things are looking good. She's now a showrunner for her show. Ava is, and then now we're getting to like the start of her career and starting her journey as Deborah is, very sadly ending hers and like choosing to end on a high note and going through a process that's basically killing herself without going through the trauma of like chemo and everything. And then having the nice ending where like, well, maybe I have one more stand-up comedy left in me, like stand-up special. And like just that like, yes, you can go out on a high, but kind of living out the rest of those moments and having them be good moments, I think it was a nice way to end the series as well.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. So I mean, I think overall this was a great show. Gene Hackman, or sorry, Gene Hackman, Gene Smart, has won for best comedic actress or best actress in leading role at the Emmy for every season of Hacks.
Yeah, well, let's see. Let's hope she can get it for the last one as well. That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean she was great in it as well as she always has been. So but yeah, I think this show ended on a very high note and you know, we're happy to go along with it. And probably the last few shows that might actually have the Max original branding.
Oh,
Uh
that's right. That's right.
yeah,
That's a COVID era thing.
it very much is. I don't know if Lanterns is a Max original, but I'm pretty sure it's HBO. I think
Yeah.
they made it HBO.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, if you haven't watched it, you know, I highly recommend it. If you're trying to catch up, it's worth the journey. Definitely go check out Hack. Moving on to the House of the Dragon. The new season came out a few weeks ago. We have now officially reached the halfway point of the season. So Ernesto, what were your thoughts on the first half of season 3?
So very similar to what I told you. I think when we were talking about the end of the last season, is that the beginning of this season should have been the finale of last season.
100%.
Like just we spent all last season building up to the thing that happened in the opening of the episode, and I get it, like having this epic thing be the opening of the season, and then like you spend an episode or two dealing with the fallout of that thing. We're gonna do spoilers. So when her son gets killed in this, you know, in this war on the water, like that leads to her riding off to King's Landing after Alicent told her that she was going to have Aemon leave the, you know, send off into the abdicate the throne so that she can come in and kind of just take over, which is what happened. But I felt like we did all that build up in the last season that when we got into it, I felt like you had to play catch up to remember of like what we were building up to. So it was a good episode. It was, you know, it was a lot of action, but it felt very anticlimactic in the moment because I felt like I was spending time trying to remember what we were building up to and like what we were leading to.
Yeah, it kind of, to your point, the momentum is gone.
Yeah.
And not only that, we waited 2 years to see the resolution of something that most people, if you weren't keeping up with it, already forgot about.
Yeah.
Like we watched a lot of movies and TV since then.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what happened?
I watched 2 different breakdown, like recap videos, as well as the HBO recap to like make sure that I got like a decent idea of what happened 2 years ago. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I remember we were building up to something, but I didn't remember exactly what it was. And to be honest, I thought it was gonna be bigger.
Yeah.
Like I'm very satisfied with the battle. I think it was definitely but to your point, it definitely felt like you should have ended the season with that.
Yeah.
I feel like you would have ended it on a high note rather than being like, and we're gonna wait 2 years to see the resolution of that. Maybe the budget was better here. Maybe it was better to, you know,
That's a good
kick
point.
off your season with a bang. I don't know. There's a lot of factors at play here. I just think story wise, for people who are watching it in real time, it felt like that would have been a much better finale. You see the Jace die in the water with the dragon, and then like next season picks back up and you see the aftermath of that. That being said, however, I don't know. Say if we started with episode 2 as our season, like our season 3 premiere,
Yeah.
if that would have still like got you hooked into the season, because then you're like, what happened at the end of season 2? Oh, that's right, there was a big battle and so died, and then you're seeing the fallout from that battle from the start of that season, rather seeing it from like the battle itself. I feel like it's like, I think it's a great opener, but it could have also been a great finale. I feel like you got to have one or the other there. So obviously they made a call.
Yeah. I mean, well, the opening could have been her taking King's Landing.
True.
Like kind of how she did with the dragons, which I thought, and I think as far as the rest of the season, I think it's good. It seems like we're still in that build up phase. They're still setting a lot of things up that are going to come to fruition later.
Yeah, I honestly to me, I think the pacing of this season is way better than season 2.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think so far, like starting off with the battle, then the next episode literally going and she's taking the throne. The next episode that follows her, like now, now realizing the responsibilities of having that throne, and then now also introducing a new threat with I forgot his name already. I just watched it today. Ormond? No, that's not Aemond.
No,
the
Ormond
new
Hightower, the guy.
yes, it is Ormond, right?
The guy who has the cousin and gave her
Yes.
the wrong son. Yes. Yeah.
He's now it seemingly our next big bad. I mean, if you're on if you're on Queen Rhaenyra's side, I should say.
Yes,
but
she is the rightful heir.
She is the rightful heir. I feel like they're now setting up this Hightower storyline to be the next, person to now be the next person to be like our major threat into trying to get the throne. And I like it. I think it's a good vibe. I don't know where Aemond is. Obviously, I feel like his like comeuppance was extremely disappointing for me. Like they're building him up with the big dragon. He gets to Harrenhal, and then like somebody stabs him in the back, and then he's like crawling on his knees, and then like he like goes on the feet of the witch, and then we haven't seen him in the last 2 episodes, and I think they'll probably bring him back like at some point in the season, but like and see where he left off. We know that the witch has him, but other than that, it's like I feel like they were setting up to be like this big battle, this big fight between Aemon and Daemon, but it never happened.
But I think that's gonna come. That's probably gonna come later on because he's. I mean, if that's obviously not the last we saw of Aemon.
No, and I also like where Aegon is going through now, like kind of walking through with Larys and like being with the common people and literally kissing the feet, kissing shit off the man's feet. I mean, I think I really enjoy seeing where his character is going to go from this when he's like literally on the bottom of the barrel right now. He lost the throne, he lost his dragon, and he's kissing shit foot. So like, I don't know. I feel like I'm really interested to see where his character goes. Less about Aemon. But then like the Hightower, Alicent, and Rhaenyra storyline's very interesting. Like the drama is still going strong.
Yeah, and I just feel like each even like main storyline and side storyline are equally as interesting.
Yes.
Whereas sometimes you go, I don't really care about that one, but I feel like they each have their own interest. Like, so I'm very curious to see what's gonna come up for the rest of the season.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. Every storyline has a good through line that just kind of gets you. Even this right now, we saw Daemon interact with his daughter of the sea smoke or the sheep stealer dragon, and going through that storyline, and like, okay, she was the one that incited the incident that led to Jace's death, and now he's trying to cover his save the life of his daughter, and that's even interesting in retrospect as well. Even like the bastard children of the sea guy, I forgot his name already. The Valeris, I believe that's his last name.
Valerian.
Yeah, the Vanilla. Thank you. And like seeing how those two,
Corlys' sons.
Yes, and that storyline's also interesting. And also like the guy who is the other bastard who is like the drunk dragon rider, and like his problems are just not even close.
Yeah. It's like,
to...
I want you to help my friends.
Yeah.
She's like, what? You're still going to pubs? Get the fuck out of here. Like,
exactly.
Drink here. Drink. We have this big ass castle. Just fucking drink here. Like, we can't afford you get stabbed in a bar. Like,
yeah, I just think like this, like I said, this pacing and the story is playing out way better than I feel like season 2 is. To me, this is much more interesting.
Yeah, and I'm really loving where they have Rhaenyra, like her coming to terms, like she finally got the throne, but now she's being thrust upon all these issues and problems, and like maybe it's not as glamorous. Maybe she had this idea that it was going to be this glamorous thing, and like she can't even have her coronation, and because the Hightowers or whoever stole all the money from them, so now she has to like replenish the throne. So it is interesting.
Yeah, and also like even that you have the seat that you've been basically wanting for the last 2 seasons, like it never ends. Somebody's always going to be after the throne, And so like it's just a never-ending cycle. And like just because you have it, now you have power, is how you use it and how you assert yourself as queen or fit for the throne. Like what type of decisions are you making to affect this whole Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying the season so far. I just binged the first 4 episodes, so now I'm loving it as a binge. But now the second half of the series of the season will be a week to week. So let's see how it sinks in from there, as well. But yeah, I'm enjoying the season very much. I very more so than the second season.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our foreign film of the month, which is Sisu: Road to Revenge, a sequel to Sisu that came out in 2023,
Which we reviewed.
2022. Wow, 22.
Yeah.
Came out 3 years ago. This movie came out the end of 2025. It just hit Netflix not too long ago. So now we were interested. Obviously, we both really enjoyed the first movie. Action was crazy, kind of campy, like kind of over the wall, over the top, bonkers type of action. With the character who doesn't say a single word, and is just like for his actions to speak for itself. It was a fun time, to watch that, and seemed like that was a one-trick pony.
I feel the exact same way because when I watched this one, I was like, I knew we were it was going to be more of the same, but it almost feels like almost exactly the same. Like there was, like maybe the action setups are a little bit different, and like the movie just kind of like, I felt like we were just moving from scene to scene. It didn't really feel like we were going or achieving anything. Like what he's bringing the logs from his house to Finland. Like that's his road to revenge.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely felt like it took me a minute to realize what we were doing. And basically he just wanted to rebuild his home, like using the wood from his house over to Finland to rebuild it there.
And then you get Stephen Lang, who's like the guy who butchered his family, and now he's been tasked to go get him. It was just funny. Like, I forgot what scene it was. He's just like looking at him. He's like, "Yeah, come on, motherfucker!" Like he's just like staring at him. I'm like, "Oh, just fucking shoot him!" Like he's right there. Like,
right
why
there.
are you wait? Or even in the end, when like the most interesting part of this movie is when they have this massive fight at the end, and he's like, he got him. I was like, "Oh shit, he got him!" Like he clearly got him. And then he's like, "Hey." And then he gets the shovel and he drags him and he lets him go walk all the way back to the missile. It's like, you're not going to do anything with this thing. And then you got any last words? And then he spits out the little thing at him. And which I thought was ironic because obviously the character doesn't speak at all. So it's just, I feel like it was a call to that. And then, Stephen Lang gets chased by this missile and then he falls down and backs away. He's like, whew, I'm right here. This missile stopped. You know what I shouldn't do? Get out of the fucking way. That's what I shouldn't do. I should just stay here and let this missile drive itself into my head, which is what happened. He's like, ah! And then the thing you watch, which was kind of cool. Like you watch it go into his skull and then it causes this massive explosion. It was just super campy, really over the top. I don't know. I thought the ending was dumb. Like they set up to where he had him. I mean, he literally beat the shit out of him and chose to stop, and then led to him eventually losing. So it just felt like it just felt very anticlimactic.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this was very like I think by even starting this movie, it was going to be campy.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be over the top. These action sequences are going to be crazy. I feel like I was expecting that, so like a lot of the craziness and the stupidness didn't really bother me as much. But I mean, to your point, it just didn't feel like I didn't understand the point of it all. Whereas I feel like the last movie where, I mean, I say this now, I don't remember it, but I just remember enjoying it for the craziness that it was.
Yeah.
But in this case, like, it's kind of like, let's do the same thing again, but like up the stakes a little bit. But I feel like the through line just wasn't enough to justify the craziness. However, there were stupid scenes in there that were still entertaining.
Yeah.
Like the whole plane sequence with
the guy
with
jumping
him
out of
and
the plane, and then he's like, he just smiles at him, And then the guy
Like-
drives away as the other plane's dropping bombs, and the other guy just accepts his fate and closes his eyes.
Yes. Like, I feel like it was really interesting that the plane was kind of going toward them and the logs come down. Like, he just shoots the strap, the logs come in front of the truck, and that plane just goes just past the truck in general. You're like, what the fuck?
It's like, wow, that truck is fucking strong to withstand a blast from a plane to make it
indestructible.
Yeah, literally indestructible. Or how about the fact that these logs fell into the water? Is that what you're gonna talk about? And then he just somehow gets them back. Like, how strong are you?
Not only does he get them back, he finds a tank.
Oh yeah,
and puts the log on the tank.
I am Sisu. Ah.
You're like,
Not only does he do that, but he takes said tank and blows the tank up to propel himself over the bad guys. Because that's what happens. It's not like it would explode entirely, like the inside and out. It's gonna shoot him over them. That was the scene I was talking about. He's in the tank and he stands up and Stephen Lang's staring at him. He's like, "Oh, you motherfucker!" Like, at no point was he like, "You know what? We should probably just shoot him now." Like,
they said they wanted him alive. They did say that. But it's a stupid story. It's a stupid story trope to be like, we can't just kill him now. But yeah, to your point, he like the tank jumps over, and like he sets the dog free. So thank God the dog's out of this danger. Yeah. But then like all the logs are still attached to it. So like, how do you get back to the logs after he got captured? Because also what I thought was weird, because I think that they picked up on the logs, like the enemy, and then brought them with them, which seems really dumb.
Like, yeah, we'll take them with us.
We'll take them with us. This seems important.
You put all this work to bring them with you.
Might as well continue it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no substance to this movie, even though the heartstring of this movie was he was trying to get the wood of his family or his family home and bring him back and rebuild. And, I guess there's that, but I just, you can't, the justification of that and then literally riding a missile to the other side of the train. It's
just weird.
Yeah, it's a very strange movie, but not all of them can be winners when we pick our foreign film of the month, but we gave it a shot nonetheless.
Yeah. So let's move on.
Sorry, go back for a second. What would you give this movie as far as a 5-star rating?
I'm thinking either a 2 or a 2.5.
Oh, really? That low? Yeah, I mean, I don't argue. I'm not going to argue with that. I guess a 2.5 feels.
If you want to go 3, I can meet you at a 3.
But I don't. You know what I mean? Like, you said it, but I was like, no, that feels right. No, I think you're right. Like, yeah. I'm going back to our letterbox right now. I'm kind of curious what we said about it. Hold on. Oh wow, we gave the first movie a 4.5 stars.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. I'm trying to see what we wrote. What did we say about it? Review and log. Nope. Oh, maybe I didn't write anything down. I feel like I would have said it. Yeah, I think we just gave it a 5-star rating. I don't see any written thing on here, so there's that. But yeah, I mean, we did really enjoy the first movie. So I guess in hindsight, it was a disappointment a little bit that this one didn't kind of live up to that or kind of try to continue that. But it is what it is. I mean, it's unfortunately it comes out to a standard like this is common for sequels to do this.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, 4.5 stars. That's crazy. We went down to 2.5 for the sequel. It is what it is.
Yikes.
But anyway, moving on now to a movie that recently just came out this past weekend.
Yeah.
Olivia Wilde's new movie, The Invite, starring Seth Rogen, Olivia Wilde, Penelope Cruz, and Edward Norton. Ernesto, your thoughts on this movie?
I actually really enjoyed this movie. It got really good reviews. I really like that it's not a big cast, that it's literally just the 4 of them in this apartment for like this dinner party, more or less. Yeah, I thought it was interesting, like, dealing with touching on dealing with neighbors and like dealing with relationships and and like different stages of relationships. Whereas Edward Norton and Penelope Cruz's, they've only been together, I think they said a year, and where
It's about a year, yeah.
and Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde have been together, been married for many, many years. They have a child together. What I think the thing I really liked is that it had this big comedic undertone of like them wanting to join this like sex orgy and but then it ended with like really an introspection into their relationship and kind of like where they are in life. So I really enjoyed it. Oh, and like this whole, so at the very end of the movie, when Hawk gives the story, his backstory of his life and why he got the name, I watched some interview with Olivia Wilde. That was completely improv. Edward Norton he told Olivia Wilde to write in the script, just put Hawk's story, and he performed it. So when he did it on scene, that was the first time, that was everybody's initial reactions to that. I thought that was fucking, crazy. How amazing is Edward Norton? Like he's just so good in everything he does, and I think that layer of that just really showcases his expertise in his craft. And I don't know, like I loved his character. Like he makes all his characters so believable. And I like that this movie had a lot of different nuances that came back later. Like in the very beginning, we see the window that you could see between their apartments. Yeah. Not knowing that was gonna be a bigger thing later on in the movie. So I did like how that was a callback.
I feel like there were a lot of setups and payoffs in this movie as well. But to me, this movie, like, it had me cracking up.
Yeah, I was dying.
Like this movie was so funny, way funnier than I anticipated. And I agree with you. I did also hear this movie was going to be good, and then it definitely sparked my interest. But I didn't realize that it is quick. Like they are firing back and forth. It's like a joke a minute, and it's not really jokes. It's just like reactions to awkward things that are happening, and what like literally the one or two words that they say in response to the awkward thing, and like very much so like where, like they were said like Olivia Wilde was like accidentally walking naked in front of that same window that you were talking about, and Ed Norton happened to see her for like a split second, and then it became like a cute game, and then they're like, what? Like they like this, like Seth Rogen's reaction to all that was like a general reaction, but it was also just like, wait, what's going on here? Like just seeing that reveal. But also was even funnier too was like when they first introduced, like, because there was whole setup that like we heard them having sex upstairs, then realizing that was an orgy basically that was always happening upstairs, and then then from there it turned into like them, like when they realized that there was an orgy, they literally stepped away from the conversation to basically like communicate with one another that were like, we were right, it's not like, it was all like, oh my god, you were right, you said this, like they were like kind of just commenting on the fact, and they came back and be like instantly asking questions on how the whole dynamic worked. It was a really funny scene how that kind of transpired.
Or in the very beginning when she's like doing the most to like impress them, when she's like, oh, I made you some jamon, and then later when they're smoking a joint, she's like, it's not jamon. He goes, it's prosciutto. She goes, yeah, it's prosciutto. Like, or not only that, is that when she had all this shit out for her, and then she goes, oh, I'm a vegan. It's like, and she's like, oh. Or when she brings this beautiful flan over in like this custom dish, and then she goes, she spent all day on that souffle, and then she just goes into the kitchen, she just throws the shit away
in the pan, in the pan as well.
Too. Like just didn't even mention it, just fucking throws it away. I mean, I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I was dying with the whole like because again, the perfect setup. Seth Rogen comes in and he's having a long day. His back is hurting. Like you have his wife just kind of freaking out about like kind of making the place presentable and kind of showcasing everything. And like it's the spread of like meats and cheeses and all that stuff. And then for Penelope Cruz's come back and be like, yeah, I can't eat any of that.
It's like not the cheeses, nothing, not even the bread. Yeah, don't do gluten, nothing.
It was great. And then even like the whole part where like Olivia walked in, can we just restart? And then he's like, I don't know what that was gonna do, but sure. And then like he goes back outside and he waits a second. He goes, hello, honey, I'm home, or something along those lines. And he continues to still sit back on the ground and like literally repeating the whole process. It was way funnier than I thought it was going to be. And it's interesting to feel that way when it's under the helm of Olivia Wilde, where she's had a hit or miss on her movies.
Yeah, this one's definitely a hit, but I think a lot of this is a testament to the cast, is to the
Yes.
four of them together. And I think it just being such a small story, I think it just really worked. What was he? There was something else. Oh, the invite. Also, like when she was telling him, yeah, I've told you like so many
He's like,
times
6
that
months.
that we were planning this thing, and like I told you the other day, and I told you to get the wine, and she goes, oh, I'm so surprised you put all this together. We just talked about it this morning. He was like, oh, this morning you say. She's like, oh, the days run together, like trying to really play it off. It's like, oh
Yeah, I think she said well, it was more like past morning, and he goes, that's not a word.
that's not a word. That's not how that works. Well, and also like his like almost disdain for them when they first come in.
Yes,
He goes to the door and he's standing like in the other room, like, hey, hey guys, like waving from the other room.
And also it's like, hey, he's like, hey, were you like, you guys were arguing? He's like, oh, we were arguing. He's like, we heard you guys from outside. It was very clear. You want to come back another time? And it was just that whole like, it's the awkwardness and then the reactions to each situation. It just continues to build on it. And then it just continues to get even more awkward when they're like, yeah, we're basically here to invite you to an orgy.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, no, you're cool. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Yeah, you're fine with that? Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. Yeah, you want to do this? So like, yeah, we'll do it right now. Like, yeah, it doesn't have to be today. It's like, no, it could be today. It could be today. It's fine. Yeah, you're cool with this? Okay, yeah, we can do this. Yeah, for sure. It was just like, it was great. I think they all did phenomenal jobs.
It was so good. It was just better than it was just a refreshing comedy, like something original, something that's not a big, massive production. It's literally just the four of them in this apartment. That's literally the entire movie.
This could have been a play if it wasn't already.
I think I thought it was based on a book. Did I read that right?
Yeah. It looks like based on the writers, Cease Gray, based on the motion picture Sentimental. So maybe this was a reboot,
That's
remake.
what it was. Yeah.
Also, I'm seeing here is because Olivia Wilde did not write this movie. It was co-written by Will McCormick and Rashida Jones. And
That's right.
she is, and so I think if anything, they should be getting the credit because the script was phenomenal.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I think I think to me, this very much feels like the vibe that I got watching it and enjoying it, and very much interested in watching this again. It felt very much similar to the vibe I was feeling with The Materialist. Not in the sense of like I was laughing a lot in The Materialist, but like this is like the same enjoyment that I was getting out of that movie, and like I feel like I was getting not only there's comedic beats to it, but then like toward the end of the movie, it kind of loses the comedy angle, and then it turns into like this, like you were saying, this retrospective of your relationship, how other people have their relationships, and then kind of slowly coming to terms that they don't really, it seems like they didn't really belong with each other anymore, and getting to a divorce. However, then it was the last bit of that movie where they're kind of just playing the piano. It almost felt like that it was like this whole situation was like the opening, like an eye-opening experience for them to what it feel like the end of the movie was insinuating, that this is like the first step of maybe rebuilding their marriage
Or rebuilding their life, because it seemed like they were very on board for breaking up. But I also think it also was an introspection into like that perfect couple is not always what it seems, because you see at the very end when she's telling him, she's like, shut the fuck up, like I don't correct your, and like them being able to go at it. But it was interesting is the way she was speaking to him was the exact same way that Olivia Wilde was speaking to Seth Rogen. Like when they go at it, it was very similar to how they go at it. So to me, it was like, oh, like that couple that you think is perfect, they have their same issues. Like it's not everything is as perfect as it seems to be. So, everybody has their shit. But I thought it was another layer to that. I thought it was interesting that he was completely against like playing any music or being part of any music. And then, but it wasn't until they get this realization that they don't need to be together anymore that made him feel open to want to start playing music again. And and what I really loved about that scene is that at the very end is that she joins him. So it's almost like her acceptance of like, this is a thing that needs to happen for us to be happy in our lives.
Yeah, and I honestly feel like it was open-ended in a way that it could have gone either way. This could have been like a fight that they have that, this could be the rebuilding blocks of their marriage or the rebuilding blocks of them separating and kind of starting in a life that they should have been living this entire time, and that they were probably better separated than they were together.
Yeah, totally.
And I kind of like that we didn't really get a complete answer on their relationship, but we got a very entertaining journey along the way of that. And I feel like for me, I'm very looking forward to watching this movie again because I feel like I'm going to get a lot more out of it on a second viewing. Just seeing, just kind of seeing how all this, like within all these conversations, knowing where it's going to, I think I'll get a different perspective on a second viewing.
And I also think this would, I mean, I saw it by myself, but this is a great date night movie. This is a great movie to take out with your spouse or your significant other. And it's just, it was just really good. It was a good time in the movie. And my theater was literally howling. Like there were people like dying laughing in the theater.
Yeah, I feel like this is another one of those hidden gems of the summer. It just gets kind of crowded in the big blockbuster season. But like this is like definitely a hidden gem in there. That hopefully more people get recognized as from A24. Eventually it would hit HBO Max based on their deal, so probably a couple months away from that. But I'm happy I got to check it out, and I think this is like, it could be in the running for like one of my favorite movies this year.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it's too early to tell, but like this one I was like, yeah, I can. This one really hit for me. I really 100%, enjoyed it.
100% agree. 100% agree.
Yeah. All right, 5-star rating.
4.5.
Yep.
Almost very close to a 5. Like very close to 5. Like to be honest, like I don't know. I don't know what would stop me from giving it for a 5.
I'm gonna say it. Yeah.
All right, let's go 5 stars.
5 stars. You're right. I can't think of anything that kind of. There's nothing I can pick about this movie I didn't enjoy.
Like it's very dialogue heavy, but it's the writing is just so good. The writing is just so good.
It's clever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, very clever.
It's very clever. Like but it's the quick dialogue that it's necessary to push the story forward, but also it continues to reveal itself. Not only about the relationship, but just like the comedic beats. It's like, who knew they were setting up something from the beginning of the movie to make it worthwhile here? So yeah, I can't really poke a lot of holes into this. So
5 stars.
So here we go. 5 stars, second 5 stars of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. Yeah, 100%. And the last movie we'll be talking about this week is, I guess, technically officially our spoiler review of the week, but we've been spoiling for the past hour now. Yeah.
But we're diving into the Evil Dead franchise with Evil Dead Burn. So we're coming at from 2 different perspectives here. I'm coming from basically a newbie into this franchise, and Ernesto has not watched any of it.
Nope. This is my first entry into the Evil Dead universe.
So how'd you feel about this movie?
I actually really enjoyed it. I thought the opening sequence was really good. Like just right off rip, we go to these 2 guys who are fishing, and like what I really liked is in the beginning is the very quick editing that scene had. Like it was just a lot of quick cuts, and it just kind of like built the anticipation. But like when that thing comes out and the fishing lines come at him, and you see it like wrap around his face, and I was like, It was just like the gore in action. And I was doing some research, and this movie relied heavily on practical effects. And I think it really, like, very minimal, just to kind of like highlight some scenes. They use very minimal CGI, but I thought it was just, the practical effects for me really, really worked. It was a solid movie. I did like that it was like this supernatural thing was kind of wrapped around this human story of them dealing with the fallout of the death of this family member of the main character's ex-husband, and of the family like hiding his abusive nature, and like that kind of being like the undertone of this film, and like the little brother being like this coward, and how we see that come and play out in different scenes in this movie. Um, yeah, I like that. You know, she was dealing with the grief of her abusive ex and his death, and dealing with his family, and having to pick up the pieces. Um, Having to pick up the pieces after he died, and like looking at the grandfather had all this research about the Book of the Dead, and yeah, I liked it. What did you think?
So I feel like I'm coming in from a different angle. Like I mentioned before, I watched the first, back in last October, I watched Evil Dead 1, 2, and Army of Darkness, which are very much connected. Like kind of like it's a trilogy of sorts. What I found interesting about learning about the first three movies is that basically, and I remember watching it, like the first movie or the second movie is basically a retelling of the first movie because Sam Raimi didn't have the rights to the first movie. So he basically, to make it his own, he instead just made the first movie again, just slightly different. So like he basically omitted everything that happened in the first movie and then just made the second movie that he officially had full control over and he owns, and then was able to take liberties on how he wanted to move forward with the franchise. So it was like that, because literally at that point I remember watching one and two back to back and I was like, it's the same movie. And it's like it's sharing the same beats. We even restarted like from how we found the book and everything. It just really odd we went there. Then you have Army of Darkness, which a lot of people love, and I feel like it was like very very campy.
Mm.
It's like overly camp. You have Bruce Campbell time traveling, and you get to learn more about the Book of the Dead. You learn that there's three books of the dead that kind of expands the lore of the Evil Dead franchise. And again, it turns into more of a comedy than is really anything horrific. And then that's kind of where it ends with those three movies. And then years later, they came out with the Ash versus Evil Dead series that was on Stars. And I've never seen it, but that just it continues Ash's story, and for the next 3 or 4 seasons, and they were able to come out of that. And so then now we're entering this new area where the Evil Dead is very gory, very brutal, very violent, very like visceral. And it started with the 2013 Evil Dead movie, which was basically a reboot. And again, it was a reboot and essentially a remake of the original Evil Dead movie. So now, years later, I'm rewatching this movie, or not years, like months later, I'm watching this movie for the first time, literally earlier this week, and I was like, I've seen this movie. It's the same movie. It's just gorier, and it's like, we're not making that many jokes. The Deadites themselves are very like crude, but they can be funny. In the Sam Raimi movies, they're very comedic in a
Mm.
way, but this ones are very like they're kind of rude to you, but they're kind of making jokes at your expense.
Hmm.
That you get from these Deadites is what they're called. Um, and so then you had the 2013 reboot, and that movie was fine. I was kind of bored because again, I feel like I was rewatching the same thing. And then you get Evil Dead Rise, which came out 3 years ago. That movie is a banger. Uh,
Maybe I did. Maybe I did watch Evil Dead Rise, because I feel like we would have talked about it. Maybe I did watch. I'm not. I
we
don't
we
remember for sure, but I may have watched it.
we didn't talk about it on the podcast. I know that for sure. I've never seen the movie until this earlier this week.
Oh, then no, I
But that
didn't.
was the first movie out of now the four that I've seen that I was like, I'm in this.
Yeah.
This is where we're talking about. I think the Deadite, the mommy Deadite is what they're calling her, was incredible. They also took the elements outside of the cabin for the first time and made it into like this condemned apartment building, which was an interesting setting. Also they had this really interesting like mommy storyline and like kind of caring for your children, but also trying to be a mother and a caregiver, and like the troubles of all that in mix of all like this Evil Dead Deadite storyline. And the way that they was shot was really interesting. It was also what later found out was that the Evil Dead reboot in 2013 was based off of the second book that was introduced from the Army of Darkness. So you have the first book, then the reboot tackled the second book, and then Evil Dead Rise and Evil Dead Burn tackled the third book of the dead. So that was something I learned. And so with that though, I feel like that now we're just doing the same thing again, where where now instead of in a cabin, it's doing the same. It's like this kid finds his book, he reads the cantation, then it ignites the Deadites, basically kind of taking over everybody. You don't really get to see that because this was a sequel. You didn't really get to see like that in Evil Dead Burn, but it was definitely established in the first movie. And I really like how they went through it. The Evil Dead Rise very much has the vibe of like Alien Romulus, where like we were taking elements of what you known from the Alien franchise and giving it an interesting spin and like an interesting visual look. And I feel like Evil Dead Rise did that very much. And then we get to Evil Dead Burn, where I feel like I just saw a better version of that literally with Rise. It was definitely Burn was very much like heavily family coded, but I don't feel like it was as interesting because again, it's Deadites coming to life and it's taking over people. And I overall with this franchise, I just feel like they can't really do anything else with it. Which is where I kind of get a little bit bored with the people turning into Deadites, people trying to kill you, the one survivor. Like it's a very wash, rinse, repeat storyline. And people for fans of the story are kind of like that. But to me, and maybe it was because I watched these movies literally back to back to back, I was getting a little bit tired of just like because what it feels like each movie is like on its own. So it feels like it has to kind of restart a little bit on how the Deadites come to you, which
Mm.
that process is the same in almost every movie.
Like you have to kill them and then they turn into it.
Well, there are different ways of killing them. I mean, some, it was established that sometimes you can burn them, but it's not really. They're more of a dismemberment. So you have to like kind of chop up their body or else they're not, coming back. In this movie, it was very visceral
Yeah.
in the sense of like this guy was literally shooting himself multiple times and like you're saying you can't kill me. But then they reintroduced the Kandarian dagger that that they had to use to kill it. That's not in every movie to kill a deadite. A lot of them rely and famous callback with a chainsaw because you want to dismember them. And within this franchise, Bruce Campbell famously loses his arm and puts a chainsaw on it, and then now he has a chainsaw arm, and he kills the deadites like that.
Oh, okay.
But they like in Evil Dead Rise, they Evil Dead and Evil Dead Rise, they use the callback of a chainsaw. In this movie, they kind of did it again with like the I guess what do you call it, the weed whacker.
Yeah.
They kind of did a callback with that, but ultimately, what was going to kill these deadites was the dagger that she was looking for. And so that was introduced way back in the first movie, and apparently, from the breakdown videos that I was watching, they use that a lot in the show. But now this is within this new iteration of these newer movies, they brought it back into this movie. So like it was a big callback for fans who enjoy that as a weapon of choice.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the comedic relief for the grandma. I thought she was pretty funny.
Yes. Yeah, like the fact that literally like all chaos and hell's breaking loose and they're just like going up the stairs.
She's a thief.
She's a thief, yeah. I just feel like that I guess it's this franchise as a whole. I just don't see like they're just giving me the same thing over and over again. But I do like these newer versions because I think Evil Dead as a brand fits better in like the goriness of it rather than the campiness of it. So there's that. But I also feel like what do you think about the story in general? Like,
Yeah, I
was
liked
it
it.
you did? Okay.
I like that I like that it wasn't just like random hack 'em up. Like there was a human element. There was a reason why. Yeah, I guess you call them deadites. They why they were after this family specifically. Um, it was kind of wrapped up in this story of her dealing with the grief of her abusive ex-husband and like and his family kind of uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Not
Like,
promoting it, but they knew about it, but they didn't do anything about it.
yeah, they kind of enabling it and
Yeah,
kind of keeping it hitting.
that's the word.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. Enabling. They were enabling that kind of behavior, and like why the mom was enabling that behavior, and like how she turned out to be. I thought it was a weird scene of her making out with her her dead husband. It was weird.
Yeah, I feel like I mean it was an interesting scene though because it was like her craving this longingness that she had before she had to basically be a caregiver, and like basically you know giving up her life to care for others, And she basically said it herself, like she would do anything to get back with her family, and the Deadites kind of took advantage of that. But and then she ended up turning into one herself ultimately, like most people do in these movies. Almost everyone turns into one, and there's like one person left standing. And but I do feel like that some of the action, like some of the deaths were pretty cool.
Yeah.
The the fact that there was a like the Deadite dad killed the girlfriend in the car seat or in the car was very brutal, and that motherfucker ran and didn't
Yeah.
even try to help her. That was, to me, it was like, that's a fucking coward.
That's what I mean. I really liked how his basically character trait kind of translated through different scenes throughout the movie, one of which being that. And then like you hear the Deadite talking to him like about him being a coward and how that came about. I don't know. I really there was just certain things I really like the cinematography. So like at the end when you get the reveal of Will coming back and she's laying down on the ground and the camera kind of like rotates forward. It kind of just rotates around to see him as the house is burning. I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, even going back to the one that I was like, kind of like, damn, like that hits hard when the Deadite girlfriend was like, so you're willing to kill, because like the gun was to his head.
Yeah.
Like in the car, like he had a chance to at least shoot his father. Might not have done anything, but at least he had a chance to try to kill his Deadite dad. And obviously that he didn't have the guts to pull the trigger and then just ran away. So then in the moment where he's like literally with the knives on his back, like from the dishwasher, and like he was willing to stab her, and she instantly goes, so you're willing to stab me, but you weren't willing to shoot your dad. Like that's something right there. That's a line right there. I was like, damn, that hits. That to me, that was just a great line, because I was thinking the same thing, and the fact that they called it out on it was very, very satisfying.
Yeah, and then he bashes her face in with the dishwasher door.
Yeah, well, there's that too. But yeah, and even like the whole, which was the trailer, mind you.
Yeah.
The whole like one shot where like the Deadite dad was basically beating up the son, and then you had like the other girlfriend, the French woman, kind of crawling on the ground and trying to escape. It's crazy that the movie didn't match that energy, because that's, without any word, any dialogue, that was the trailer for the movie, and that's what got me hooked. I'm like, whoa, that's intense. And I feel like that the movie had a very slow start for me, that by the time we got there, I wasn't as invested once we got to like the height of the killings and the Deadites being involved in everything.
See, and I actually really liked some of the setups, because we get the guys on the lake in the very beginning and leading up to the girl with the car, and then it goes back and we get the character set up leading up to that moment where he hits her with the car.
Yeah, and I feel like that you missed a little bit. There's not much crossover between Rise and Burn, but they are connected. So there was a similar lake house scene that kind of set that up, and there was a person that basically got turned into a Deadite, and that was like the opening movie as the opening credits came about. And then we didn't really see anything of her until the very end of the movie, of how she became basically like how the Deadites got to her, and eventually her going to Lake House. So it's a weird thing that so far has not shown any payoff yet. That they've already announced there's an Evil Dead Wrath that comes out in 2 years, and apparently that's supposed to be a prequel. So not really continuing off of this movie at all, but maybe giving us more context. Unsure. But both movies started off the movie with this lake house, and I'm just trying to understand why, because there's not a lot of connective tissue to the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
So interesting they did that. But yeah, I mean, to that point, like apparently that Deadeye was looking for him specifically so they can find the dagger, and apparently that is new lore to this franchise, because now there's like a reason what, like, to me the Deadites were just very random because you said an incantation from a book. But now they looked like they had a little bit of agency, of like they were targeting this family so they can get the dagger, because apparently that's the only thing that could kill them in this iteration.
Yeah.
And then clearly they did not succeed. But there were 2 end credit scenes, which you say you did not see.
I did not see. Which were what?
So one was the grandma still alive, and she was like crawling on the road, like half her body was like half cut off, and she was crawling on the road. Somebody like was in a car, stops and sees, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And then she kind of fakes being like a grandma. It's like, "Oh my God," whatever. And then she kind of turns around and just attacks her. That was the end of that. The second cameo, the second end credit scene was basically the return of Mommy Deadeye, which was the antagonist in the first, or in the Evil Dead Rise movie. So she was dead, and then now she's not. How she's alive, we don't know.
We don't know. Okay.
But that's pretty much it. So like, you seeing that end credit scene probably would have meant nothing because you didn't see Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah.
But your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I thought it was pretty good. I really enjoyed some of the practical effects. Some of the kill scenes I thought were pretty good. I did like that it was kind of wrapped up in this human story. I'm going to give it 3.5.
I'm leaning toward more of a 3 for me.
I can meet you at 3.
I don't necessarily think this was a bad movie, but also I feel like now I'm coming to a point where like I'm not really fully invested into this franchise now that I've literally watched every movie from it. And I feel like that they have done a little bit better, especially with Rise. So like, and I would advise you to watch Rise.
Okay.
I think it would give you a little bit of context for what happened in this movie. There's not a lot of connective tissue, but there is there's like a little threads that connect Rise to Burn.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if those threads have any connections to Wrath, which would be the last movie, well, the next movie in this franchise. But yeah, I think it was good. I think it was a good movie. Maybe if I give it some time to breathe, and if I happen to rewatch it, I might like it. But I think also just comparing it to how much I really enjoyed Rise, it just didn't compare to me. Like Burn didn't compare to Rise.
I guess I'm gonna have to watch Rise now.
Yeah, I think you should. I think like if you were interested in this movie at all, I think this, like, Rise did a better job at what Burn was also trying to do. Like I think Rise is a better version of Burn.
Okay.
But to your point, if you saw Burn first, then maybe
you'll like
then
Burn.
you're coming from a different, you might like it more from a different perspective. But like I really enjoyed Rise, so I think this was like a lesser version of what the story and the emotion that I got from Rise. But overall, it's not a bad movie. I think a 3 is pretty solid in my opinion. But there you go. That is all that is our spoiler review on Evil Dead Burn, and that is all the show we have for you guys this week. As always, you can follow us on our social media channels on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok at Box Office Bingers, our X and Letterboxd page at Box Office Binger, and our Threads and Instagram page at Box Office_Bingers. The fun doesn't stop here. It continues on all of our social media channels, so be sure to give each one of those a follow. We'll tell you what's new to streaming every Friday. We'll give you the box office numbers every Sunday. You can see all of our movie reviews on Letterboxd, and you can see our lovely faces in our shorts on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Threads. We're all there. Next week, our next episode is episode 300, Ernesto.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. And for a big episode comes a big movie. And we're going to be talking about The Odyssey.
Can't wait. We've been waiting so long for this. It's such high expectations. So can't wait to have this conversation with you.
Yeah, I think it's easy to say we're just going to devote this episode 300 to kind of look back at 300. That's nothing to scoff at. I mean, I think we've already know that we've obviously surpassed 300 episodes. We've done some other like bonus ones and stuff like that, but like as far as official episodes, this is a big moment for us. And ever since the beginning, I mean, even from our friendship, we've always fell in love with Christopher Nolan and all of his movies. So it feels very fitting that we hit, by the time it kind of lined up where 300 was, we were reviewing yet another Christopher Nolan movie. And
it did more or less naturally, actually. We didn't really push for it to be 300. When we were doing our planning, it just kind of like, oh yeah, look, 300 is going to be Odyssey. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, exactly. And also we were talking about a few different things we can be doing in the future as far as like what we were doing for like the podcast, kind of change things up a bit, doing different styles of reviews in the future that we can discuss on our 300 episode. But yeah, like we're looking, I mean, 300 strong, Ernesto, and we're not really slowing down.
Not slowing down. Not getting rid of me yet, sir.
Nope. I mean, Uncle Roger's alive, so hey.
Hey.
We like to thank each and every one of you for listening to us just talk about movies. We really do appreciate it. Come back next week for more movie fun. You're not going to regret it. But for that, I've been your host, Matt Diaz.
Been Ernesto Santos. See ya.